Teresa Spearman was a 46-year-old mother that lost her life in the city of Chicago. To every story, there's a backstory to help you further understand why things happen. These are the stories of the wicked streets of Chicago. As Teresa sat back watching her daughter argue back and forth with CrateHead, she contemplated what she would do if things got out of hand. She silently prayed as she dialed a number of some of her family members. Fearing for her life and the life of her daughter, she was willing to take extreme measures to protect them, even if that meant killing CrateHead herself. For now, Teresa was going to try involving some of her male family members to see if they could talk some sense into him. She knew CrateHead was a loose screw, but what she didn't know was getting her family involved was only going to make things worse. CrateHead is a hardcore gang member from NLMB. It's been said that before he got locked up, he was one of the most feared members from 79th and Essex, or Rock Block. He allegedly also has bodies on Lakeside and Black Mob. He represents EBK, or Everybody Killer. Getting into it with him may not be the best choice, because according to the streets, CrateHead's elevator don't go all the way to the top. He was very much in love with his fiancée Jessica. He proposed to her, and she said yes. A short time later, Jessica decided that she didn't want to marry CrateHead anymore. But little did she know, giving him that ring back was going to cause all hell to break loose. A Chicago man who shot his ex-fiancée and killed her mother was arrested in Indianapolis a month after the shootings when he called and threatened to kill the rest of her family, prosecutors said. Frank E. Smith, 30, is charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder in the slaying early February 28th of Teresa Spearman, 46, and the shooting of Spearman's daughter, 25. He is being held without bond. Spearman's daughter had given back her engagement ring to Smith the day before. According to Assistant State's Attorney Jamie Santini, Smith became verbally abusive and he argued with her for much of the day and began throwing objects around the house, Santini said. Late in the evening, the dispute became more heated as a male friend of the victim came to the residence in the 5400 block of South Laughlin Street. Several family members of the victims assembled there to mediate, but Smith only became more angry, eventually getting into a fight with the daughter and hitting her in the face, cutting her lip, as well as injuring another relative of the family. Smith hit Spearman in the head with a gun and Spearman hit him in the head with a bottle, Santini said. Smith began shooting and Spearman and her daughter took refuge in a bedroom, Santini said. Smith broke down the door and shot his ex-fiancée 3 times, grazing her in the head and foot and hitting her in the back, Santini said. He then turned the gun on Spearman and shot her in the chest. Smith then fled home. Spearman was pronounced dead at 12:36 a.m. on February 28th at John H. Stroger Jr. Hospital of Cook County, according to police and the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. Her daughter initially was listed in critical condition at Stroger. Several witnesses identified Smith as the shooter, but detectives were unable to locate him. But on Sunday, Smith called his ex-fiancée and threatened to kill the rest of her family so she could feel the pain he was feeling. Police were able to track Smith to Indianapolis, where local police arrested him Monday. He was returned to Chicago and identified by victims and witnesses in a lineup, authorities said. Smith has previous convictions on charges of unlawful use of a weapon from 2011, 2007, 2005, 2002, and 2000. According to Cook County State's Attorney spokeswoman, Tandra Symington, Santini said Smith also has 2 theft convictions, including one from 2010. Smith's public defender, Bill Boland, said Smith was working on getting his GED at the time and was unemployed at the time. He has 2 young sons and lives with his stepmother and other relatives. In denying bail, Judge Peggy Chiampa cited Smith's 4 felony gun convictions. Smith, wearing camouflage pants, white gym shoes, and a black hooded jacket, was asked if he understood that he was to have no contact with any of the surviving victims or their family by any means. He turned his head away from the judge and began shaking it as if to say no. "Look at me, young man," Chiempus sternly said. She asked him again, and he said, "No, Judge." Chiempus told Smith to take a deep breath, and she asked him a third time, and he said, "Yes, Judge." He then turned away from her and began walking toward the lockup and deputies, then turned back. "Mr. Smith, take a deep breath and calm down," the judge told him before he was led away. CrateHead did what he did and went to Indianapolis, where he eventually got caught. Calling Jessica's phone and threatening her family after the fact is what gave away his location. CrateHead was extradited back to Chicago and charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of aggravated domestic battery with a handgun. CrateHead would eventually end up getting 46 years, with a parole date in December of 2058 and a discharge date of December of 2061. And I think that what we can learn from the story of CrateHead is this. I understand what it means to be a member and how that bond with the guys feels. But at some point, we got to start holding the guys accountable for the fucked up shit that they do. Instead of guys telling their homies, "Damn, bro, your ass tweaking," they don't say nothing, which is basically condoning it. It's like everybody's a real nigga, but scared to do and say real shit when it comes to their homies. And ladies, y'all got to start choosing y'all guys better. No one's perfect, and I get it. But if you see a dude that got a gang tattooed in the middle of his forehead, then there's a very good chance that he may not be the pick of the litter. A wise man once told me that when a person gets a face tattoo, they've reached as far as they want to go in life. Although that may not always be true, it does hold some type of validity. Moral of the story, choose your partners wisely, because stories like this are more common than you think, and it can happen to you. This has been another episode of Wicked Streets of Chicago. It's your boy, SNTV. I'm out.